Oh, the group, the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, has been gaining ground, even taking credit for Thursday's suicide bombing in Beirut, Lebanon. So will these Islamic victories spread, or can the Islamic extremism be contained? Let's turn now to Texas Congressman Louie Gohmert, a Republican and member of the House Judiciary Committee, who was in the Middle East, including, you were in Libya and Lebanon just last month.
That's right, Beirut. Yeah, just 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you make of the news, this troubling news in Anbar province? So the Al-Qaeda flag apparently raised, and they've taken over these cities that this country, our troops spent so much blood and toil to try and win 2 years ago.
Right, and I was there right after they had taken Fallujah back and meeting with Marines.
2004.
And when you think about the blood and the treasure that was lost, especially the blood, taking that city, and then you had this badly bungled when this administration took over. There were problems before Bush left, but he had basically teed up a status of forces agreement, and because he was trying to be gracious, he could have probably got the deal worked out, but he was going to let that be a great, noteworthy achievement right off the bat for the Obama administration, and they didn't do it. And we knew that Maliki was under tremendous pressure from Iran, and we didn't do that. And so we knew that as soon as we left, Iran was going to be coming in. Basically, Maliki would be more of a puppet. He'd either do what Iran said, and then once that happened, you'd start having civil war between the Sunni and Shia factions. And so it's all playing out. This was all very predictable, as John Bolton said earlier today.
Now, the Iraqis, the Maliki government says they'll be able to crush, in their words, this revolt by the Al-Qaeda-linked terrorists within a couple of days. Do you think that they can hold out and that they will win? Or what happens if the Islamic extremists win and spread this?
Well, that's the problem. This administration has been helping Islamic extremists in Libya and in Syria and around the Middle East.
How have they been doing that? They're certainly
we've been providing weapons. When we knew Al-Qaeda was infused in the rebels in, we provided them weapons. We were trying to get back weapons and get them to Syrian rebels. We knew the Syrian rebels were infused with Al-Qaeda. Assad's not a good guy, but we have been helping. And I'm telling you, we're talking to some of our moderate Muslim allies in the Middle East. They privately will say, we don't know if we're going to be the next ally you throw under the bus. You know, we keep seeing you throw away allies. And I tell you, Eric, the first thing we ought to do is, instead of having Secretary Kerry go to Israel and start saying you're going to give away land from which you will be attacked. He doesn't realize that. He doesn't realize a lot of things. But instead of going to Israel and saying you will give away more land you'll be attacked from, why don't we go to Israel, as I did 2 weeks ago with Steve King, Michelle Bachmann, and say, you know what? What do you think about what should be done? That's what you do with an ally that's in the region. And I'll tell you one other thing. Afghanistan is going to blow up. The Taliban's already poised to take over that. And as Massoud and some others have told some of us privately and have said publicly, all you have to do in Afghanistan is get an amendment into the Constitution you forced on us that says that we can elect our governors in each region, that we can elect our mayors and police chiefs. And if you will do that, instead of having a stovepipe centralized government, then we can keep the Taliban from taking over.
So what do we do? Take a look at that map. From Afghanistan right on through the Middle East, you've got an apparent resurgence of the Islamic extremists with the car bombs, 20 people killed in Baghdad this morning, the car bomb in Beirut just a couple of days ago. What do we do? How does this be stopped? Is that possible? Or do you think that Islamic extremism will just flourish?
No, it can be stopped. That's the great thing, Eric. In Egypt, the reason you didn't show on that map Egypt in that same white color is where their Islamic is because 30 million Egyptians rose up, moderate Muslims, secularists, Jews, Christians, and said, we don't want the Muslim Brotherhood in charge. They declared it a terrorist group.
Do you think that
the U.S. ought to do
other
that.
Countries?
Yes, absolutely. And that's why the Muslim Brotherhood is trying so hard to get back into Egypt. They know if they lose Egypt, that could spread and peace would spread with it. We need to be helping Egypt. Instead, this administration refuses to supply the Apache helicopters that Egypt is using to help ships get through the Suez Canal. I mean, Once they rose up against radical Islam, against the Muslim Brotherhood, this administration cut them off and said, we're not going to help you anymore. We got to stop helping our enemies and help the enemy of our enemies, and this can be solved without a lot of American lives being lost.
Well, Congressman, American lives were lost, and certainly it seems to be spreading. And we'll see how this plays out, especially with the troubling news.
Just help the enemy of our enemy, and American lives will be saved.
Congressman Louie Gohmert of Texas with his advice. Congressman, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Great to be with you.